cilantro actually had issues, and they finally figured that out. They were giving some people some pretty bad intestinal problems. But no, there's no boar's head at Chipotle. We should be so lucky. But they should tell you that you're about to be charged more. I mean, every store I've been in, they do that.
I put in the chat some issues that are happening here in Chicago. They just announced that there's $1 billion deficit for next year, so they're raising property taxes, and people in nice areas or and even not nice areas are seeing property tax bills up 100%, even 300% in some areas. And people essentially are going to lose their house because they're going to be forced to sell because they can't cover the annual nut to own that property anymore. So the city spent $1 billion plus going to 2 billion on 50, 60,000 Venezuelan and other migrants and put them in hotels in the city and put them in country club hotels. And everybody's scrambling. Well, how are we going to pay the debt? How are we going to afford our property taxes? Well, I can tell you, if Kamala wins, expect those property tax increases to stick around. And if Trump wins, I'm sure they'll kick all these Venezuelans out of the city is immediately because the city is so broke they can no longer continue to pay the landlords. Let alone you have Pritzker, who is a hotelier, and so there's all this conflict and mixed. Just like how everybody accuses Trump of housing his political supporters and foreign dignitaries in his hotels. Oh no, but Pritzker here in Chicago, who owns all these fucking hotels, and who's getting a ton of state money to house these fuckers. Anyways, welcome to ancient Babylon.
I think 300% is probably an exaggeration. The worst thing is property taxes, where you can't lose your house.
It's really not an exaggeration. I can show you news articles. They're just coming out right now.
So your property taxes are tripling.
Yes, 100%. I can show you news articles that came out yesterday where people in Lincoln Park, Chicago, were paying 6,000, and now they're being asked to pay 17,000.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's forcing people to sell. It's a very precarious situation that we have plunged ourselves into because of incompetent clown lords that rule the fucking country like Sith lords. It's not this is they can't do this and not expect blowback.
That doesn't cause people to rise up. I don't know what would. We'll talk about Florida, where DeSantis wants to develop some parkland into commercial property.
Where does he want to do it?
I guess I don't know if there's state parks or city parks, but I'm driving, so I can't fire my machine. But it's a pretty big story.
Probably somewhere in South Florida, right?
I checked the parks and I can't remember.
Oh, don't worry. I haven't heard people talk much about the Ben Sass story. So it was kind of interesting how he resigned from Florida. Like, you're like, why the hell is he resigning out of the blue? And something about helping his wife who has epilepsy policy, blah, blah, blah. You're thinking, wait, this just doesn't add up. Of course, a week later, you find out that, there's much more to the story. I mean, it just was such a weird exit.
I read that story too, and I forgot the details. You say there's more. You want to tell them more?
Well, there's no more. I just mean there's details in that. I think he paid out staff. He paid out former Senate staff members. He brought them to Florida and then paid them or overcompensated them or something like that. I don't know. I was more interested in the fact that hearing Ben Sell at staff talk like he's made this selfless decision to go to be with family. It just didn't add up. I mean, that's the funny part about politicians is when they do something so selfless, you're like, oh my God, what happened to them?
Well, they were always allowed a couple stories to cover for real decent lives. I could do it again. Pretty common, would you say?
So, if I can introduce a new topic.
Sure.
So, I mean, the concept of self-promotion, self-centering, ego, I like to think ego is just a concept. And just like the word gay, I think it's a concept. And this pronoun game or the Hegelian dialectic or the neurolinguistic programming, to me, Kamala seems like a self-centering promotionalist person, or really, I guess Trump is organic and authentic, and Kamala is inorganic, inauthentic, and Waltz is just the weirdest person in the world. And if they become our president and vice president, to me, it seems like a fake election and installments. So today, I already started envisioning the speeches that Tulsi will give and that Kennedy will give when Trump is denied the election results that he wants. November 6th is my birthday. It is not going to be a pretty day, in my opinion, for Republicans. I think Alex Soros needs to be thoroughly examined. And this is not a question of Semitism or anything like that. Maybe he's not the worst guy in the world, but to me, when all of our states are running off of Dominion and then the other election voting system technology, why we have totally outsourced our most important mechanism for determining truth. And we all know that we are living in an age of incredible propaganda and incredible mind control where our cell phones are controlling our emotions to a very high degree. Paper ballots and going back in time for this one thing is a common sense approach to having fair and valid elections in this country. And I've been an election judge. I've thoroughly studied the Dominion voting systems, electronic voting machine. I've gone through their training materials. I've recorded their training materials because it's laughable and very weird. And every time I see Republican content now on the internet, which is obviously propaganda, I just reply with hashtag weird.
We've had paper ballots for 20 years in my state, and we have a mechanism to check them online and see how it was counted and how it was treated with our signature validated, and it's worked for us. I mean, you don't get a fast result, which bothers all of us, but we're able to track our election. We have.
Go ahead.
You go. There you go.
No. I was just gonna say because mentioned Alex Soros. I think it's fascinating that Alex Soros marries Wiener's ex-wife, who was Hillary Clinton's like best buddy, chief of staff, whatever. I think there's something there. Adrian, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, you can see it. Alex Soros is very public, and I think people practice the Hegelian dialectic or the neurolinguistic programming effect through their social media and Instagram. It's almost like the carrot before the cart kind of a thing where Alex Soros is now fully embedded with the Clintons and his money, his resources, open source society foundations, the Ukrainian war. I mean, as soon as the DNC is over, Alex Soros gets on his jet and flies to Ukraine to meet with his open source foundation employees. So this non-government entity is so deeply entwined with State Department and military security operations that conflicts of interest and our fucking voting machines are under the control of this fucker. I don't know. I get the feeling that all the veterans that died in Iraq and Afghanistan and the liberties of this country and all the sacrifice are being subverted through a completely fraudulent election system.
So you're saying Dominion is Alex Soros? Is that what you're saying?
100%.
How's that?
First time I heard that.
Yeah.
Oh, you
how's
didn't
that?
you didn't know who owns Dominion voting systems? Are you being serious?
No.
No, I haven't seen. Right.
Yeah, you should maybe look into that.
That is news. That is news. So you've been trained in Dominion. You know what's going on inside the machines.
For the most part, yeah. And I didn't detect any fraud. And the thing that throws me though is they claim that the results are beamed through a satellite, and that is not true. It's all done through Wi-Fi, and the results go to a database in Germany, which is very weird. Hashtag weird. And then those results go to your election voting commission, and then the election voting commission gives you the results that what comes out of Germany. You can Google this shit, and there's plenty of videos to show the hacking of these systems. There's been no congressional oversight into the hackability of these machines. There's so many things, and this is all conspiracy type of stuff, but it's not. This is technology 101, and everybody knows that most of these systems can be hacked.
Adrian, the first two things that came up contradicts exactly what you said. That Dominion has no attachment to Venezuela or Soros or anything like that.
Venezuela?
Started there. What was the name of the company it was under before it became?
Yeah, it got bought or something, right?
Yeah, it started in Venezuela.
Anyways, I mean, I'm just saying that, like, what you said about the paper ballots in your state, that you don't have any problems and it's slower. Well, I think we need that. And if you're a Republican governor, you have to take that step and do an executive order and get rid of Dominion out of your state.
Well, I remember Trump not liking the paper ballots either, right? And told people not to vote. It's also a problem.
I don't know how he said that.
Yeah, but he has
You're
to.
talking about mail-in ballots. He said show up to the polls.
Right.
Everybody's always going on and on about mail-in ballots are the way for Republicans to win. The way for Republicans to win is complicated, and you kind of have to play it how you got to play it. So when Trump says things like that, he's being a realist. He's being pragmatic in his approach to trying to win.
Also, I think Nate Silver came out today too with some kind of poll that said that he has the most likely path to the electoral college win. I mean, I don't know if you guys follow that polls like Nate Silver.
We love Nate Silver. I do.
We met with our county clerk, and she said that they don't send. I mean, where do the results go? Do they go from the state?
No, Dominion tallies and then Dominion transmits. The state does no type of accounting or forensic or any auditing. They get the results from Dominion. It's not the other way around.
Okay. She told us that they data from the county, she prints out a total and tells it to the state.
Yeah. But that's not the way the state records it. They record it off of the digital transmission, not off of the print off.
Your talking points are straight from Sidney Powell. That's exactly.
They're not. I've gone through this as an election judge. I can give you my exact experience.
Well,
Yeah.
Google, the fact checkers abjectly disagree.
I know, and you're using Google. Google is the biggest subverter of everything. I mean, it inverts everything. It's total bullshit.
Sorry. Actually, isn't it? It's paid to play with Google because if you get the right account executives, you can have them deal with SEO, right? I mean, is that what you mean?
No, I mean,
About Google?
no, I'm saying that they censor search results and they provide you Democrat talking points and information to that degree. They totally control the narrative. It's totally leftist liberal garbage. I'm a former Google employee. They fired me for looking at Alex Jones at work when they deplatformed him.
That is to be the opposite of what you're talking about. But there has to be some balance here. If you want Sidney Powell talking points, they have to be challenged.
Okay, great. I'm not Sidney Powell, and I got to tell you, if you're going to Google what I'm saying, and then Google's going to say the exact opposite of what I'm saying, you still have to consider the fact that what I'm saying could be the truth.
You had me until I did some quick Googling, yeah.
So the machines in each county are connected wirelessly to where?
They transmit the results through a Wi-Fi. So when they set up the poll in the precinct, it's connected to a Wi-Fi. But I'm just saying that they may not be aware of their miscommunication.
They don't admit that. Right. They don't admit that, though. They say that they're not connected.
No, they are 100%. The machine is connected to Wi-Fi in the precinct or the polling station.
But they deny that. I mean, so you found
It's
out
not a denial thing. When you set the machine up, it's a very complicated setup process that takes many hours to set up and shut down. It's ridiculous, and it's a waste of fucking time.
Are you saying that there's modems in the machines that unbeknownst
It's
to
not a
the
modem,
account-
like it's not a modem as in a dial-up modem. The machine has a Wi-Fi. Yeah, the machine has Wi-Fi in it.
Yeah, but the county clerks don't know that?
No, they do. They do. What I was saying is in the training materials, they say that the results are transmitted via satellite. What they're really saying is the Wi-Fi results are transmitted via satellite. It's really just a word problem, I think, but it just raises questions on why they use the word satellite. I've talked to many other election judges because a lot of Republicans became very curious when Dominion started coming up in the media, so they started applying to be election judges. Here in Chicago, where I live, they actually were requesting veterans to volunteer. So, they immediately placed me because there's so very few Republican election judges. Nobody wants to do it because it wastes your whole day.
Well, elections will be under more scrutiny even at the local county.
Yeah, but you can't see this, though, if it's going by satellite. You can't. The election judges can't see that, except for somebody like.
What I'm saying is the election judges know the results, and in fact, when our polling precinct closed, I immediately transmitted the results to all of my Republican associates, maybe in violation of rules, but they were doing the same thing. There are people there who are members of the Democratic Party who immediately take the results, the paper results. Those paper results may not be the real results that get transmitted to the election judge, to the election board that gives us the results in the final tallies. There's a disconnect there, and there's no auditing and there's no cross comparison of the results. So it's not necessarily transparent. It's right there. It's obvious that the real results may not actually be a 1-for-1.
Our county. I'm sorry to keep going on if this is boring you, but our county clerk just told us that she calculates the results in the county and prints out the results, and and then I guess then somehow they get to the state and they compare the results.
I get it. I get it.
State.
My point is, put it all on
Yeah.
video, put it on YouTube, and let's see how you actually verify, validate, audit, and do the fucking tallies. It's not transparent. It's not public.
You have to see how she got the results, how the county clerk got the results.
There's
Yeah,
no
you
transparency.
that.
There's none. And I've gone through the election process and I've seen how they kick you off of ballots. Your own party that you're trying to be a party, that you're trying to party with. All the parties are really co-opted, especially the Republican Party. The people that run it are really all just Democrats, at least here in Chicago. And anyways, I'm just saying there is no election integrity because there's absolutely no transparency.
Yeah. Yeah, we're confronting our county commissioners right now, trying to get them to not pay for Dominion. And I'd like to know, is there one place that we can go to quickly? And I mean, we sort of know these different things, but it's so complicated. Is there any one place that can synopsize this, or probably
No, even those election commission positions, at least here in Chicago, there's 4 of them, and you can go to their public hearing and literally just destroy them. Marshall can probably actually talk about this quite a bit. The point is, again, there is no transparency, thus no credibility.
because of the machines, because you can't see what's going on in the
There's no
machines.
one-for-one auditing taking place between the election commission and what Dominion pushes to them versus the paper printout at the end that the machine tabulates.
Fox News have to pay $800 million to Dominion.
I agree. That's a shakedown. That's insanity.
Yeah, well, we're in a small county, and we don't even have an election commission. So we're trying to, and we're not with the party. We're doing a group on our own. But so the paper.
Welcome back,
Yeah.
Marcel.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you.
Yeah, I think Monica posted something about Sequoia voting systems. Sequoia is the world's largest venture capital firm based out of California that are the primary original investors in all the major tech startups. And thus, the leaders and founders of Sequoia are some of the richest people on the planet.
But so where we going?
So what do you think's going to happen, Adrian, if this is all jimmied and Harris wins?
Yeah, I think Harris and Waltz are literally going to do the waltz right into the White House. They'll start cutting bigger checks than ever before, and we'll go to 40 trillion, then 45 trillion, then 50 trillion. And they'll bring in more migrants. They'll leave the border open. There'll be another pandemic. There'll be a World War III. I mean, Kamala and Waltz, in my opinion, are communist sleeper agents and subversive, dangerous domestic terrorists. And I'm not projecting.
I just don't know what people who don't want that to, I mean, what's going to happen in the country with the people who don't want her in. I mean, well, they've asked Kennedy what he's going to do, and he says, I don't think that far ahead.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about the future is totally redundant and stupid because it recedes, but Trump really did almost have his head blown off by a weirdo who is now cremated, and there's a conspiracy afoot. And I predicted an assassination attempt either on Kennedy or Trump. I just can't see how this goes down peacefully.
But Kennedy still doesn't have Secret Service protection, I think.
Well, I mean, he's gonna.
It was just taken away. He did have
But what kind of protection is Secret Service when they intentionally and when they've set you up? I mean, you got to vet your own people. You can't rely on these federal employees to protect you. First of all, they're overweight, incapable of even returning fire or running 2 miles in less than 15 minutes. I mean, what kind of security is that? For Christ's sake, is the most obvious position for where the shooter was. I mean, this is a conspiracy to kill, and you've witnessed it. They're facts. I mean, doesn't it even get people's stomach like churned? I mean, I know Marshall's a fake Republican, but like Marshall, doesn't it churn your stomach to know that maybe a shadow deep state organization tried to kill our former president? It doesn't even upset you, I'm sure. Like many people on this app were so happy when it happened, and they were so upset that the assassin even missed. I mean,
Again, you go after Marshall. You've done it before. And stop with your Sidney Powell and conspiracy theories, all this bullshit that you can't prove either. Okay?
I know, but it's still just my opinion. You may not like it.
It's not that I don't like it. It can't be verified even by a search or any other reasonable place to find the information.
Well, I have this thing called my memory, and I'm a voracious information gatherer and an information addict. So everything I say to you is straight off the basis of my memory, just like everything that you say, and just like that everything else everybody else says on this fucking app. It's called your memory.
That's great. And Sidney Powell is credited, and your words are direct from her playbook. So thank you.
I hate to tell you this, sir, but I have my own book. It's called My Memory.
Boom, clap. Exactly. How's that verified and downloaded and checked? Is it sent to Germany? Or are we just getting it right here, Rob?
I don't know. I used to support Ron Paul, and he wanted to audit the Fed. Have we ever audited the Fed? Or do we know anything about what they do in their secret meetings?
I'm almost done.
Meaning you're going to sleep, or I didn't hear what you said.
Not to sleep, but
Oh, you're almost about to send Adrian to the audience. Is that what you're saying?
I think we need to stop.
I mean,
Okay.
don't you understand that if I'm able to raise your blood pressure, it's obvious that I'm squeezing at some zits that have some truth pus in them?
No, you don't know how he sleeps. So don't give yourself that.
Well, that's just a hard.
What's inefficiency is frustrating.
What's up, Dr. Jordan?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm multitasking, so I'm only half listening.
Got it.
I mean, I think Adams is actually probably the most astute political observer here. Adams, how did you feel when Trump was almost killed, and what's your response to a lot of people on this app who were upset that he wasn't
No
killed?
comment. Yeah, no comment.
Well, anyways, thank you for letting me center myself. As you can see, I'm in the center of the stage. I have self-promoted myself. My name is Adrian Dittman. I impersonate
Goodbye.
Elon Musk, and
Goodbye.
I want to thank you all for
Goodbye.
being here.
Yeah,
And Mazel
bye.
Tov on your
Bye.
wedding, Dr. Adams.
Bye.
And congratulations. Oh, that was awesome. Oh my God, that was awesome.
That's NBC. Remember, y'all, always listen to both sides of the table. You want to at least be
Today's a real
aware
banger.
of what
Today's the biggest propaganda day of my propaganda career.
Please and thank you.
a policy is keeping the Affordable Act intact for many folks that have diabetes, that have health issues, that have pre-existing conditions. She is committed to keeping that on the table, as well as border control. That is an issue that she has been looking into to make.
Okay, this is true. This is plus some lies. Oh, yeah, it's been Kamala Wells propaganda.
Yeah, I know. Oh, there he is. Yeah, Adrian, I was saying that you have so much passion for, you have so much, what did I say? So much energy for trolling. So much passion for trolling. Oh my God.
Yeah, what is trolling?
There's fishing trolling. Ever gone fishing and trolled? You drag the line, and then there's clubhouse trolling.
Yeah, I don't know
and
who I
it is-
pissed off. Like, I literally do not know who I pissed off, but it's crazy because apparently my whole entire family received text messages that I got into a car accident. And I'm slowly, one by one, just telling them, like, yo, like, I'm alive, like, I'm totally okay, like, this is crazy. Yeah, I mean, what exactly is trolling?
Well, I mean, that's sick, whatever just happened to you. I'm sorry that happened to you, but trolling to me is, trolling is gaslighting. It's trying to get a reaction out of someone through sometimes not always deceitful tactics. A new study that just came out said that because I troll, so my narcissistic traits come out when I troll. Like trolling is anyways, a new study just came out that looked at trolling behavior in narcissistic personality types, and people who had more self-esteem were less obviously makes sense, among the narcissistic population were less likely to troll than those with less self-esteem.
Dr. Adams, you're one of the best trollers there are, so please. You know trolling better than anybody. And I'm sorry that people reported the reports of your decease.
No, it's crazy because I actually have my mom's phone and it says that crash detected SOS. My first and last name, called emergency services from this approximate location. iPhone detected a crash. You are receiving this message because my first and last name. Weird. Extremely weird.
And I was gonna make a joke, and it's actually true that in my case, if my relatives got that, I'm worth more dead than I am alive. So there might be some celebration.
In like kind. But it's just very extremely strange that just out of nowhere, I'm getting these notifications, it was not a very fun time in my family tonight.
I'm sorry. Can you call Apple themselves and say, look, is it even worth the energy?
Look.
At this point, probably not.
And there's no way your phone triggered it.
Nope.
All right.
Yeah, PTR. That's literally the notification that was sent to my dead mom's phone. So, yeah.
That sentence is so typical of Tocqueville, the way he piles on the descriptive labels, its penchants, its character, its prejudices, its passions. So there are embedded in that two questions, you might say, subordinate clauses, or two sub-questions that Tocqueville set out to answer. The first concerns the gradual replacement of the ancien regime, that is to say, the French term for the old aristocratic order based on privileges, hierarchy,
corporate hierarchy, but this does not mean it promoted absolute centralized political authority for secular ruler. 23 to 24. The rule of Roman public law and, thus, the state was developed by the church after Theodosius issued the Edict of Thessalonica in 380 AD, making Nicene.
The middle of day left. Yeah, well, if you guys know what the statistic is, there's always like a very confusing, it doesn't have to be linear, like the X and Y axis can be can look like a very weird curve or a very messy curve. You know what? Screw me. What am I talking about, right, guys? Well, you guys can go Google under determination in case you're wondering what it is.
Hey, we got this crazy stuff. I'm listening, bro. Do you want to talk about it?
Does not have a color. So I'm assuming it's probably just regular colored tea. Organic Earl Grey, organic black tea. Oh, green tropical tea.
Good question. I would still call Apple because it came from your phone.
to those people. Like, did you do some emergency stop where the phone flew across the car?
Nope. I've been home for several hours now. It's very
So when
strange.
this happened,
My car was literally in my parking garage.
Okay.
Very strange.
It is.
I mean, I can send you a picture of my car and my timestamp. Like,
Well, I believe it.
it's very weird.
Weird. Sure.
We believe in marriage because when you're going to get married, rather than the pastor like the courthouse, they tell you you're going to be together through good and bad, through sick and wellness. And I don't think most people that get married actually believe in that more than they're just repeating what the person is telling them to say. Because if they believed in it, in times when y'all necessarily don't have that passion y'all once had when y'all was young, y'all would stick through. Because if you're around somebody so long,
black directors, they have little to no money and they still direct the movies. Boys in the Hood, all this shit. And we have all these black motherfucking people like 50 Cent and Tyler Perry keep making the same storyline about Medea being in